What is up, everybody? How are you all doing today? I am doing great myself, and I hope you guys are feeling the same way. I'm feeling especially great after how amazing you guys are with that last video. 16 subscribers, 57 views as of right now. It is still the 10th. This is the Sunday episode. Every Sunday we're gonna do some Bible readings and explain those Bible verses a little bit. But just it was so amazing how you guys did on that first podcast. How you guys just so many of you watched it, and I hope it helped a lot of you. Some people had told me that they really liked it and it helped them. And one person actually told me it was what they needed to get their life back on track, which I could not believe at all. And I'm just so grateful that you guys were accepting of the message and that you guys listened to it. Thank you all so much for that. That is it's just so amazing. And I'm so glad that I'm given this beautiful opportunity to spread the word of the Lord to you all. And I hope me and Jacob will both be able to continue it. Jacob is not here tonight. It will just be me doing this Bible reading. The way we're going to be doing these Bible readings is I do one and then he does one, so we're going to rotate out basically. So this is my night. Next week on Sunday the 17th, he will be doing his version, his reading. All right, so if we're going to start with our Bible readings, why not start at the very beginning? And in the very beginning is Genesis. Genesis means the beginning, and we're going to start with Genesis 1:1. I would like to read the entire book of Genesis, but people were telling me they did not like the very long videos, so we're not going to do a very long video because Genesis is 43 pages long, and that would probably get into the time of about 30 minutes to an hour. So we're going to start at Genesis 1:1, the creation of the world. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. And God said, Let there be light, and there was light. And God saw that the light was good. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was an evening, and there was a morning, the first day. That's day number one, first day of creation, so that is Monday. God creates the earth, he creates the heavens. The heavens means the sky, not literal heaven. He means the heavens, as in the skies. So he creates the earth, the heavens, he creates darkness, he creates light, night and day, first day. Now we are on day two. And God said, Let there be an expanse in the midst of the water, and let it separate the waters from the waters. And God made the expanse and separated the waters that were under the expanse from the waters that were above the expanse. And God called the expanse heaven. And there was evening and there was morning the second day. All right, so everything was water. Now he puts in the sky. So you have the sky, the heavens, then you have the water. So that's the second day. And God said, Let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let dry land appear. And it was so. God called the dry land earth, and he called the waters that were gathered together seas. And God saw that it was good. All right, creates dry land on the third day. First day creates the planet and light and day. Second day he creates the heavens. Third day he creates the earth. And God said, Let the waters in the okay. And God said, Let the earth sprout vegetation, plants yielding seed and fruit-bearing trees, in which the fruit is in their seed, and each according to its own kind on the earth. And it was so. The earth brought forth vegetation, plants yielding seed according to their own kinds, and trees bearing fruit in which is their seed, each according to its own kind. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the third day. So he created plants, vegetables, and whatnot, and trees, so vegetation, all the greenery. He creates all that on the third day, along with the land. And God said, Let there be lights in the expanse of the heavens, and separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for reasons, and for days and years. And let them be lights in the expanse of the heavens, to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And God made the two great lights, the greater light in the day, and the lesser light in the night, and the stars. So he creates the sun, the greater light, the moon, the lesser light, and the stars, right here on the fourth day. And God set the expanse of the heavens to give the light on the earth, to rule over the day and over the night, and separate the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the fourth day. And God said, Let the waters swarm with living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the expanse of the heavens. So God created great sea creatures and every living creature that moves with the waters of the swarm according to their own kinds, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters and the seas, and let the birds multiply on the earth. And there was evening, and there was morning, the fifth day. Day 5. Fish, birds. So now we're on to day 6. And God said, Let the earth bring forth living creatures according to their own kinds, livestock and creeping things, and beasts of the earth according to their own kinds. And it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth according to their own kinds, and the livestock according to their kinds, and everything that creeps on the ground according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. So right there, you hear a lot of its own kind. What's that mean? That means there's, there's all these different species, right? He creates them according to their kind. So they're what they are is basically what that's saying. There's different monkeys, there's different sheeps. It's not all the same thing. They're of their own kind. Then God said, Let us make man in our own image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish at sea, and over the birds in the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all things on the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. God creates man right here. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him, male and female, he created them. Boom, right there. He creates men, he creates women. God creates them. There it is. And he also says it also says here in Genesis 26 that men is basically men as the uh, entire race, of course, has control over the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, the animals on the ground. The earth is ours, is what he's saying. The earth belongs to man. And God blessed them. God said to them, Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish in the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over every living thing that moves on the earth. And God said, Behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is on the face of the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruit, and you shall have them for food, and to every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the heavens, and to everything that creeps on the earth, and everything that has breath for life, I have given every green plant for food. And it was so. And God saw that everything that he made, and behold, it was very good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the sixth day. Alright, so he tells them, You get to name everything, and everything belongs to you. Right there, that is the entire first chapter of Genesis. Now we are moving on to chapter 2. The seventh day, God rests. Thus the heavens and the earths were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day God finished his work that he had done, and he had rested on the seventh day from all his work that he had done. So God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on that day God rested from all his work that he had done in creation. Sundays, that's why there's a Sabbath day. You rest on them. You do not go to work. You're not supposed to work, at least. So that's Sundays. That's why Sundays are why we go to church. It's a Sabbath day, the day God rested, the final day of creating the earth. Now we are on to the creation of man and woman. These are the generations of the heavens and the earth when they were created, and in the day that the Lord gave the earth and heavens. When no bush of the field was yet in the land, and no small plant of the field had yet sprung up, for God had not caused it to rain on the land, and there was no man working the ground. And in a mist was going up from the land, and the watering hole faced the ground. Then God formed man out of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living creature. And God the Lord planted a garden in Eden in the east, and there the man whom he had formed. And out of the ground the Lord made the spring up every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. The tree was in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge and good of evil. So this is the tree of knowledge and good and evil. We were talking about it last night on the podcast, and so this tree is in the center of the garden. And here we're going to read that God says, Don't eat the tree. You can have everything in this garden. Don't touch the tree. So we're on Genesis 2:10. A river flowed out of Eden to water the garden, and there it divided and became four rivers, and the name of the first is the Fishian. It is the one that flowed around the whole land of Havilah, and where there is gold. And the gold of that land is good. Bdellium and onyx stone are there. The name of the second river is the Gihon, the one that flowed around the whole land of Cush. And the name of the third river is the Tigris, which flows east of Assyria. And the fourth river is the Euphrates. The Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and keep it. And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, You shall surely eat out of every tree of the garden, but of the tree of knowledge and good and evil you shall not eat, for in the day that you eat of it you shall surely die. Here God says, You shall surely die if you eat from that tree. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to die physically. Well, I mean, it does. That means he's going to kick you out of. So basically, eating that tree, God tells you not to. That would be a sin, right? There's no sin at this point. So you eat from that tree, and now there's sin. Now it is possible to die, and then you can go, you go to hell, you don't go to heaven, and that stuff because Jesus Christ had not died and forgiven them of their sins yet. Then the Lord God said, It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make a helper fit for him. Now out of the ground the Lord had formed every beast of the field and every bird of the heavens, and brought them to the man to see what he would call them. And whatever the man called every living creature, that was his name. Okay, so the animals came to Adam, and he named all of them. All right, Adam named all those animals. So the man gave names to all the livestock, and to all the birds of the heavens, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there is no helper fit for him. So the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon the man, and while he slept, he took one of the ribs and closed it up in place with flesh. And the rib made the Lord God taken from the man he made into a woman, and brought her to the man. And the man said, This at last is bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh, and shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Why women are called women? It also says, now it says here in the Bible that the woman was made to be a helper to the man. So if people ever argue with you about it, it says it in the Bible in Genesis. Um, so there you go. Therefore a man shall leave his father with his mother, and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one of flesh. And the man and his wife were both naked and were not ashamed. So at this point, they're naked and they don't care. They don't care because they're completely comfortable in their bodies. And they don't know no better. They just don't care, right? So nobody has to wear clothes at this point. So we're at chapter 3, the fall. Now the serpent was more crafty than any other beast in the field that the Lord God had made. He said to the woman, Did God actually say, You shall not eat of any tree in the garden? And the woman said to the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees in the garden, but God said, You shall not eat of the fruit of the tree that is in the midst of the garden, neither shall you touch it, lest you die. But the serpent said to the woman, You will surely not die, for God knows that when you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. So when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was a delight to the eyes, and the tree was desired to make one wise, she took of its fruit and ate it. And she also gave some to her husband that was with her, and he ate. And the eyes of both were open, and they knew that they were naked. And they sewed fig leaves together, and made themselves loincloths. So they eat of this tree, right? So the serpent, which is the embodiment of Satan, says to them, Did God really say that you can't eat all of them? And he's like, Yes, he said we can eat all of them except for the one in the middle. And he's like, No, it'll be all right, right? You'll see everything. God just is jealous. He doesn't want you to become a god. He wants to hold on to his power. So they eat of it. Eve eats of it. Adam's with her. He eats of it. And that happens. And people will say, since Eve ate it first, is why. And women are supposed to be servants to men. Actually, it says before that, as I mentioned, that the woman was made to be the servant of man because it was made out of the man. So it's not, I mean, there is reasons that because that Eve ate first, but in the Bible, it does say that the woman was made to serve the man. So it is not because woman ate of the fruit first. It's because the whole reason women were made in the Bible was because to serve man. All right, so we're going to continue on. And they heard the sound of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and the man and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord among the trees of the garden. But the Lord God called to the man and said to him, Where are you? And he said, I had heard the sound of you in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, and I hid myself. He said, "Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten of the tree which I have commanded you not to eat?" The man said, "The woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me the fruit of the tree, and I ate." Then the Lord God said to the woman, "What is that you have done?" The woman said, "The serpent deceived me, and I ate." And the Lord God said this to the serpent, "Because you have done this, cursed are you above all the livestock and above all the beasts in the field. On your belly you shall go, on the dust you shall eat. All the days of your life I will put in enmity between you and the woman, and between you and your offspring, and her and offspring. He shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel." To the woman he said, "I will surely be multiply your pain in childbearing. In pain you shall bring forth children. Your desire shall be for your husband, and he shall rule over you." So it is partially because that the woman deceived Adam and told him to eat the fruit. So there is that at Genesis 3:16. And to Adam he said, "Because you have listened to the voice of your wife, and have eaten of the tree of which I have commanded you, you shall not eat of it. Cursed is the ground because of you, in pain you shall eat it all the rest of your life. Thorns and thistles shall bring forth to you, and you shall eat the plants of the field. By the sweat of your face you shall eat bread, till you return to the ground from which you were taken, for you are dust, and to dust you shall return." He came up as dust. When he dies, he'll become dust again. That's actually a kind of powerful quote, right? About how we were talking on the podcast, how humans are kind of insignificant creatures. Like it says right here in Genesis 3:19, "For you are dust, and to dust you shall return." All right, on to Genesis 3:20. "The man called his wife's name Eve because she was the mother of all living, and the Lord made for Adam and for his wife garments of skin and clothed them. And the Lord said, Behold, the man has become like one of us in knowing good and evil. Now lest he reach out his hand and take also from the tree of life and eat and live forever. Therefore the Lord sent him out of the Garden of Eden to work the ground from which he was taken, and drove out the man. And at the east of the Garden of Eden he placed a shibboleth and a flaming sword that turned away every guard the way to the tree of life."